What's going on, One Piece family? You already know what time it is. Oda dropped another banger chapter, chapter 1163 Promises, and I am so excited to break down this video with you today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Definitely make sure you check out my other content, the NBA season and Among Us. And if you're a true hooper like me, I already have my power rankings up. I have my Eastern Conference and my Western Conference video posted on my channel, so definitely make sure you check that out. Without further ado, let's get to the video. We pretty much pick up where Oda left us at chapter 1162, where Imu-sama arrives. And he takes the form or transforms with Saturn as a beacon, and immediately he starts going after everybody. Pirates aren't safe, Marines aren't safe, and immediately you could tell that Roger sees that everybody's in danger, especially his crew. He tells Gabon, hey, yo, you watch over the men, I need to go take care of something. Which, in all honesty, we already know where Roger is going. Further ado, now we finally see Garp kind of turn a little bit. Well, not turn, but in a sense, like give us more emotion about what's going on. He has no idea what's in front of him. We know more about what's going on right now than Garp does. And that's the funny part, right? Given that this is a flashback, but he has no idea who this is. None. He knows who Saturn is. He's one of the 5 elders, even though he considers the 5 elders a maggot. I thought that was absolutely hilarious when Oda brought that up. But Garp is really starting to show that he is not down with this. And to be honest with you, all of us are wondering the same question. Okay, Garp, you're not down with any of this. So why are you still a Marine? Isn't that the $1 million question? Imu is looking down at Rocks, and Rocks is looking at Imu. It's almost like a David and Goliath situation going on here, and I just love it, right? Anytime we do see Imu, minus the Flower Garden and Mare Joie, majority of the times we see Imu's looking down on somebody. There's no situation where Imu's looking directly at somebody. It's rare that happens. They're always looking down at somebody. And in this situation, Rocks is looking up at Imu and immediately calls him the Rat King. And I love that title, the Rat King. I'm gonna start calling him that, the Rat King. I absolutely love that title. And Imu calls Rocks Davy Jones. And immediately Rocks is like, yo, I never met the guy. Talking about the wrong person. But I think Emu's referring to Rocks' lineage in this moment. And I think that's pretty cool. He's not really talking to Rocks, he's talking to his lineage. And the simple fact that Imu thinks that this is his world and he needs to eradicate things or people. And I'm very curious to find out who Imu is at the end of the day. Like Oda truly at the end of the day has to reveal who Imu is and their true intentions of, I think Imu's been living longer than 800 years, by the way. I think we're dealing with a situation where we're dealing with somebody that's probably been there since day one. Fast forward, now Imu goes for an immediate swing at Rocks, and Rocks goes for an immediate swing with his sword to cut off one of Imu's tentacles, or one of Saturn's tentacles, excuse me. Now, when I looked at this attack, both attacks just look basic, right? So Rocks didn't use any haki, but I'm very curious to see how much haki really does influence what's going on with the immortal beings that's happening right now. After Rocks' Rat King diss, we get to Garp talking about how he wants to go back somebody up. And it's like, wait a minute. Oda, are you setting up Garp for him to actually be a hero here? Because that's what a lot of us want. A lot of us want Garp to step up in this situation, actually act and do something. Because the only thing he's done at this point is attack Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido and talk the whole entire time. He has done nothing to aid anybody against this Celestial Dragon game or this attack whatsoever. But the one person that actually is doing something is his son Dragon, who is still carrying Shanks away and sees that there's a Navy ship coming up. And his idea is to, oh, I'm gonna drop this kid off. I don't know what he plans to do after that, but it's so good that he didn't drop off Shanks or Baby Shanks with the Navy, because more than likely they would have to turn Baby Shanks over eventually to Garland. And who knows who Shanks would have become. We know who Shanks would have become. He would have become Shamrock. He definitely would have become a stronger version of Shamrock, his brother, but he would have became him for sure. Dragon is doing a whole lot more here on this island than Garp has ever done. At this point he has. And then of course, you know, Oda has to throw in this little wrench into the whole entire plan for Rocks. And you have another incident where Oda is showing us where you see a fracture in his crew, where Captain John is plotting his escape from the crew in the midst of all of this chaos. Now, I really don't know how much this is truly a big reveal, but a lot of us were kind of making the assumption, or we were assuming, right, that Captain John did have Kid's magnet devil fruit abilities. And lo and behold, Oda gave it to us. This is a really dope panel. I love panels like these because it really does show Oda's creativity. And I can kind of tell just by looking at it, he had fun writing it. He did, or drawing it. I know he did. Now, immediately, right after Captain John's attempt to steal all the treasure, which to be honest with you, is a smart idea, you have Gonzu, who has Mr. Five's devil fruit ability to turn any part of his body explosive. First of all, the simple fact that they're using it the same way is very interesting, which I don't know if the way that Gonzu used it was embedded within the devil fruit's will. So then when Mr. Five got the devil fruit, he just started using it that way, and it just clicked for him, right? Maybe it worked that way, but I think it's kind of a coincidence that they're both using it the same exact way, right? Like, come on, Oda. Did you really mean to do that? And then of course, Oda's is showing us not only did Captain John's actions was it not only the first domino fall, it caused another domino fall, because now Gonzu attacks Shiki, because now you're dealing with each treasure chest having net worth of what, $1 billion per chest. And to a pirate, that's a gold mine. To anybody, that's a gold mine, right? Especially with the gold lion Shiki. But this is just another example of why the rock pirates are crumbling, and Oda's showing it to us, domino step by step, because probably within the next chapter or two, the rock pirates will be completely destroyed. They'll be done. It will just be remnants of Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, Shiki, Captain John, Gonzu. Like, they'll just all break apart, especially when they realize that their captain's dead. My favorite panel. I know I've said this before, y'all. I know I have, but bear with me. Oda's cooking. My favorite panel of Elbaf so far, and the build up for it was beautiful. You've got Garp running to the front lines because he's like, screw all this. Screw everything. I'm going to go fight. And I'll fix with that with Garp. I love that part of him, but my theory, I'm gonna give it to you at the end, about Garp, which I hope is true. This is a good sign right here. You've got Kaido telling Rocks, like, save some for me. You got Big Mom running up on Kaido like, yo, little bro, you stole my ish. Of course, Kaido can't give it back, right? But the simple fact that she's charging at him full strength with everything that's going on. You got Roger running up to the front line trying to impress Garp. You've got Rocks up on the front line. You got Whitebeard on the front line. You've got Kaido. Kaido, like, immediately about to give us attack. And then you've got Garp giving us Galaxy Impact. Bro, this panel, by far, it exceeds the last panel that we got in chapter 1162, when you had Rocks and you had a Dragon Kaido, and then you had Whitebeard. This exceeds that. You have Galaxy Impact. You have Divine Parture. We have Pandemonium of the Abyss by Rocks. Our first named Whitebeard attack. It took 1,164 chapters, excuse me, 1,163 chapters. And we finally get a Whitebeard attack, named attack, Shattering Void. We get Kaido's dragon. It's absolutely hilarious that he didn't even think of an attack. He was just firing something off rip. And then we have Big Mom's Ivaku Sovereignty. All 6, you can argue, are top 10 in One Piece when it comes to power scaling, or top 10 One Piece characters, period, right? Going at Emu and Saturn in this one attack. Now, I know what people are going to say. I truly feel like the build up for this in the anime is going to go crazy. And I'm so excited for it. With even all that power scaling Oda just gave us in that last panel, he just takes it to another level. And Emu just shrugs that attack off and immediately unleashes a Haki wave, just like the Haki wave Emu released in Elbaf right before we got into the flashback. Like we're possibly talking about Emu having the strongest Haki in the One Piece verse right now. That's a legit conversation, is it not? And to make this chapter even better, Oda finally gives us the answer of one of the funniest but most serious answers we've always been asking. What's happening to Baby Shanks? Finally, we get an answer to one of the most pondering questions since we talked about God Valley. How the hell did Baby Shanks getting in that treasure chest? And Oda finally gives us the answer. That Haki wave sends everybody flying. Dragon mistakes Baby Shanks for a piece of wood, I guess, in the rubble or whatever. Baby Shanks gets lost. Treasure chest is open with jewelry all on the ground, and Baby Shanks get enamored by it and crawls into the chest. Which, to be honest with you, I think it's so sweet. I think it's funny. It's such a One Piece thing to happen. And to be honest with you, given Shanks's nature, right, that does feel like something he would do. Right? Like it just feels like something he would just do by accident. And one, to be honest with you, makes me wonder how his brother would have turned out if he wasn't being raised by his dad. What makes you think? There's so much power scaling going on in this chapter, it's not even funny. Emu, right after that Haki attack, immediately makes another threat at Rocks and tells Rocks straight up, I really don't have to do all this right now. No, I don't really need to do all this. I'm going after your wife and I'm going after your child. Because what any other bad guy wouldn't just turn the table and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go after your people instead. And then you have Big Mom and Kaido arguing. Kaido's like, I can't throw up the fruit. And Big Mom's like, well, you owe me. And to be honest with you, does he really owe her? I don't really think so, to be honest with you. I don't think he does. And on the other side, you have Garp and Roger arguing whose attack did more damage to Emu, which I think is absolutely hilarious. That's kind of like in a way, it reminds me of like a Luffy and Kid's relationship. In a way, the way that they fight and argue kind of gives me that parallel. I'm not saying that's who he is, but I get that parallel just a little bit. Now, Rocks is pissed. He doesn't like what's going on and he's over this shit. And I don't blame him. But the next attack he does, it's kind of dumbfounding, right? Like it's just a basic attack. There's no Haki infused. It's just him swinging his sword. And I'm like, bro, you do realize like you should have used your Haki in that attack. Maybe you probably could have done some damage, but now we'll never know because Oda does something that he foreshadowed in Elbaf. So I don't understand why people didn't see it coming. But the Dominating Reversi, yeah, of course. This is exactly why I believed that Rocks wasn't going to fight Roger and Garp on his own. Like I just didn't think the way that their characteristics were, it just didn't make sense to me, right? It just didn't make sense that Rocks was just gonna turn and start fighting Garp and Roger. But now it makes sense now that he's being controlled by somebody else. Now, of course, immediately when this happened, I knew the community was gonna be in uproar. And sure enough, the community is in uproar. It is not as bad as people think as it is. Let's see what Oda has next for next chapter. Let's see how Oda ends ends God Valley, to be honest with you. Because this dominating reversey, as soon as I saw it being used against Dory and Broggy in the present, there's no doubt in my mind that Oda has a way to reverse the effects. We just haven't seen it yet, right? There has to be a way to reverse the effects. I don't think the Davy clan is gonna have that luxury, but I think the people in the present will have that luxury. So we'll wait to see. And we fully don't know where Rocks is completely taking over, right? His level of strength or his level of hockey, he may have some resistance to this dominating reversey the way that his Davy clan members didn't have, his grandmother and his dad. So we just have to be patient and wait and see, because Oda is cooking. Like, y'all can smell that from the kitchen. It's brewing. It smells like Thanksgiving dinner back there with Oda's cooking. So just be patient. I loved everything about this chapter. I love the pacing of this chapter. We just get straight to the point. I feel like I feel like God Valley is going to be ending very soon. I feel like in the next 3 chapters, I feel comfortable saying that. Maybe 5, but I feel like God Valley is coming to an end. The Rock Pirates are coming to the end, and depending how Oda finishes this is going to be really good. I definitely think Rocks is going to kill his wife. I think that's going to be gut-wrenching. I think Oda is going to pull that string with us, and I feel like Rocks is going to get a moment with 𝚃ik. At least I hope he is. I hope he's going to get a moment with 𝚃ik. Now, let's talk about our boy Garp. I truly have this theory about Garp and why he's staying a Marine. Everything we've seen, everything we know about Garp, so far, we understand he does not fuck with anything that's going on with this island. Completely understand that. So why stay a Marine? I have a theory. For the events of God Valley, Garp realized, even at his rank as a vice admiral, even if he went to an admiral level, even if he became a fleet admiral, right? Garp knew he could not make the influence or change he truly would want to because of what he saw in God Valley. I think everything's connected to God Valley. I think God Valley is the tentpole or the event, right? This cataclysmic event that sent so many other characters down a spiral, right? Just like Roger claiming about his One Piece, right? Right before he was killed. This cataclysmic event. God Valley is just like that. No question. And I think Garp realized, well, if I can't create change because of my rank, maybe I can create change with the next generation. A la Akainu, a la Kobe, a la G5, a la Sword. I personally think Garp founded Sword. I do. I think that adds so much more depth to his character and why he stayed. I think that adds more nuance to his character when it comes to understanding why he truly wanted Luffy and Ace and, well, no, Dragon was already a Marine, but more so Luffy and Ace, why he wanted them to join to be Marines, because he knew if they were Marines, he knew the next generation of Marines would be all right. And he knew they'd be getting some real justice. But I am so excited what Oda's got cooking for us. But let me know what you guys think about this chapter. I thought this was a banger chapter. Without a doubt, this is a 10 out of 10. I'm not upset about the dominating reversey. I'm gonna wait to see what Oda's gonna do with it, because I have a feeling however he's gonna reverse it, I feel like it's gonna tie into Luffy somehow, and his Sun God Nika Devil Fruit abilities, no question. How do you guys feel about Rocks as a character so far? Do you think Oda has done everything that he's possibly can for this character? Do you want to see more from Rocks before he goes? What are you expecting to see from Rocks before he goes? Let me know in the comments. Definitely make sure you guys like and share this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.